So here's a wild thought. Are we actually paying companies to replace us with AI? It sounds crazy, right? But that's the big question we're digging into today. And the answer might be hiding in a place you'd least expect, our own tax code.
All right, let's just jump right in. I know it sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, but what if our tax code actually has a favorite? And what if that favorite is robots over people? This is a huge deal because it taps right into all those fears we have about an automated future.
To really get a handle on this, we've got to look at this idea from some MIT economists. They call it the paradox of abundance. And here's the gist. The problem with AI isn't that it's going to create a world where there's not enough to go around. No, it's the opposite. It could create a world of just incredible wealth, an excess of it. So that begs the question, right? If AI is making us all so much richer, why does it feel so threatening to so many of us?
Well, here's the paradox in a nutshell. Technology, like AI, is making the entire economic pie bigger. Society as a whole is getting wealthier. But at the same time, a whole lot of people feel like they're not getting a slice. They feel like they're being left behind. And that's the real tension here, isn't it? The clash between this massive economic growth and just basic financial security for everyday people.
And here's the core of the problem. For most of us, the main thing we have to offer the economy is, well, our work, our labor. But what happens when technology makes it super easy and cheap to replace that work with capital? Things like fancy AI systems and robots. Suddenly, the value of our human labor starts to drop, and that creates this massive problem of distribution. All this new wealth is being created, for sure, but it's flowing to the people who own the robots, the owners of capital, and not necessarily to the people doing the work.
So, what's really driving this shift? Well, a huge part of the answer, it turns out, is a kind of bias that's baked right into our tax system. It's like a hidden incentive, and it has these massive, profound consequences for the future of work. Let's just be blunt about it. If you're running a business, why is buying a brand new AI system often a way better financial move than hiring a person? What's the logic there? The answer, it all comes down to taxes.
Okay, check this out. It really lays the whole thing bare. When a company pays you a salary, that's a labor expense, right? And that income gets taxed pretty heavily. But when that same company invests in an AI system, that's a capital asset. Any money they make from that investment gets treated as a capital gain. And those, well, they're taxed at a much, much lower rate.
And wow, this really shows you the difference in black and white. At the top end, the tax rate on your paycheck can be as high as 37%. But for long-term capital gains, the profits from investments, the top rate is just 20%. That is a huge gap. It's basically an open invitation from the tax code to invest in machines over people. And it's really important to get this. This isn't some kind of accident or a sneaky loophole someone found. Nope. This preference for capital over labor is a fundamental, deliberate part of our tax system. It's been built up piece by piece over decades of policy decisions.
So this tax bias isn't just some number on a page. It actually creates this really powerful feedback loop, a cycle that is actively speeding up our shift to a fully automated economy.
You can see the whole cycle laid out right here. Step 1, the tax code favors capital. Step 2, that pushes companies to pour money into automation. Step 3, this makes human labor, which is taxed way more, look more expensive by comparison. And the result, the risk of jobs being replaced by machines just keeps growing. It's a loop that feeds itself, over and over again.
And the potential scale of this whole thing is, well, it's staggering. We're talking about studies that predict AI could automate parts of nearly half of all jobs in the US. Think about that. When you take this incredibly powerful technology and then you add a tax code that basically gives it a thumbs up, the potential for massive disruption is just enormous.
So let's put it all together. What's the bottom line? Our own tax policies are, in effect, subsidizing the replacement of human workers. We've literally built a system where it makes more financial sense for a company to invest in a machine than to hire, train, and pay a person. But, this doesn't have to be the end of the story. The sheer size of this challenge is forcing a brand new conversation. People are starting to ask, how do we rewrite the rules for this new economy? Because the one we have now, it was designed for a totally different world. Okay, one of the most fascinating ideas popping up is this thing called the severance tax analogy. Think about it like this. States tax companies for taking natural resources out of the ground, right? Like oil or gas. This idea applies that exact same logic to our digital world. It suggests we could tax companies for extracting our user data, which is basically the raw material that fuels the entire AI economy.
It would create a whole new stream of revenue right from the source of this big tech shift.
Then there's a more direct approach people are talking about, a straight-up automation tax. And the idea is pretty simple. You tax a company specifically when they replace a human job with a machine. And the goal here isn't to punish companies or stop progress. Not at all. It's about using that money to help fund the transition for everyone else. Paying for things like retraining programs or better safety nets for people whose jobs disappear.
And there are a bunch of other ideas bubbling to the surface too. You've got proposals for a robot tax, which would be a tax on the value that automation creates. Some are talking about an automation dividend, basically taking the extra wealth AI generates and sharing it directly with every citizen, kind of like a universal basic income. There are even ideas about tiny little micro tariffs on AI transactions. The details are all different, but the core goal is always the same, to try and rebalance the scales between capital and labor.
So when you put it all together, it really brings us to a fundamental choice, a fork in the road. The policies we put in place right now are going to decide which of two very, very different futures we end up with in this age of AI.
Down one path, you have the utopian vision, right? Automation takes care of all the boring, repetitive stuff, and humans are freed up to be more creative, and everyone shares in the new wealth. But down the other path, well, that's the dystopian concern. A future where AI just makes inequality worse, gives a few companies all the power, and creates more division. And the key thing to remember is that technology itself doesn't decide which path we go down. We do. The rules we write, like our tax policies, are what will steer us one way or the other.
And so, at the end of the day, it all boils down to this one final, really critical question. What do we as a society want our economy to value? Should it be designed primarily to reward capital, or should we be designing a system that also rewards and supports the actual human labor that built the whole thing in the first place? The answer we choose, well, that's going to define the next 100 years.